When the nation was on the brink of a civil war, some enterprising people in the new territory of Washington energetically embarked on a mission to build a university. The cornerstone was laid on May 20th, 1861, and 6 months later classes began with about 30 students. Todd Clay Stiles Mercer was born to the illustrious Mercer family of Seattle, Washington. However, for reasons that are quite evident from looking at this picture, his family quickly disowned him, forcing him to change his name and move away. Respecting his family's wishes, Todd Mercer left home. He planned to go around the world, but apparently his sense of direction was as bad as his sense of style, and he in fact only went around Lake Washington. But because he also changed his last name to Cooey for reasons that no one can understand, even his family did not realize that he was still in town. By sheer coincidence, or, according to university history, terrible luck, Todd Cooey arrived at the University of Washington on opening day, as shown in this computer-enhanced photograph. Cooey became a member of the first class entering the University of Washington and has remained on campus as a continual torment to the institution ever since. Shown here with the first group of students at the university, Cooey has repeatedly been voted most likely to commit a felony. During rare periods of sobriety and wakefulness, Todd participated in numerous extracurricular activities, almost single-handedly destroying the athletic program. Here he is with the men's synchronized swimming team, all of whom, save Cooey, drowned shortly after this photograph was taken. He then moved on to the rowing team, but his poor sense of direction caused a collision between the two shells shown here, with the loss of all on board. All, that is, but Cooey himself. Under a subsequent court order to stay away from the aquatic center, Cooey abandoned water sports and tried his hand at basketball. Unfortunately, the university's first basketball arena burned to the ground following an explosion of gases that were subsequently attributed to Cooey's chronic gastrointestinal distress. Finally, Cooey tried out for the football team. Although he was notoriously unreliable as a ball carrier, he turned out to be an exceptionally good carrier of tuberculosis, which ultimately wiped out the entire varsity squad. He was allowed to continue as a student in exchange for a promise that he would no longer participate in any sports activities. Feeling isolated after having dropped out of team sports, Cooey briefly joined a fraternity. Although it turned out that he was not well suited to the Greek system, his fraternity experience did jumpstart his academic career, particularly in the area of chemistry. He dedicated himself to his education, studying architecture, civil engineering, and aeronautical engineering. One day, while listening to his favorite Motley Crue album, he had an idea. Suddenly, he could visualize himself as a doctor. But what kind of doctor should he be? He considered surgery, emergency medicine, and orthopedic surgery. But in the end, his personality and appearance were really only appropriate for sitting alone in a dark room. So he became a radiologist. A radiologist who, for some reason, seemed to find even more pleasure than usual sitting alone in the dark. Eventually, Todd discovered interventional radiology, and the world has never been the same. No, it hasn't gotten better, but it certainly has changed. Now Todd is off on a new adventure, leaving the University of Washington for the first time since he stumbled across it all those years ago. We can only hope that his sense of direction is still as bad now as it was then, and that he'll wander around the country, missing Colorado altogether, and find himself back in Washington once again.